In the last video, we added validation using data annotation directly in our DTOs. While that approach works, it has some limitations. As application grows, validation logic can become harder to maintain, harder to test, and tightly coupled to our data models. In this video, we are going to take things to the next level by introducing FluentValidation. This is a powerful and flexible library that allows us to define validation rules in a clean, readable, and maintainable way. Instead of putting validation attributes on our DTOs, we will move that logic into dedicated validator classes. By the end of this video, you will understand why FluentValidation is widely used in production systems, and you will be able to apply in your own ASP.NET Core applications. Let's start by installing FluentValidation into our project. This package will allow us to define validation rules outside of our models. In Visual Studio, open NuGet Package Manager and search for FluentValidation.asp.NET Core. Then install it. This package integrates FluentValidation directly into the ASP.NET Core pipeline. Once installed, we are ready to start creating validators. Now, instead of placing validation attributes inside our DTOs, we create a new dedicated validator class. This class inherits from abstract validator and is strongly typed to create product DTO. This means all validation rules defined here and will apply specifically to this DTO. This separation makes our code cleaner and easier to maintain. We start by defining validation rules for the name field. Using rule 4, we specify the property we want to validate. Then we chain rules together. Not empty ensures that the field is not empty, and maximum length limits is to 100 characters. Compared to Data Annotations, this syntax is more readable and expressive. Next, we validate the description field. This field is optional, so we don't require it, but we still limit its length. This ensures that even optional data remains controlled and consistent. For the price, we ensure that the value is greater than 0. FluentValidation gives us a very natural way to express this rule, making the content immediately clear. For stock, we allow 0 but prevent negative values. Again, the rule is simple and easy to read. Now we need to register FluentValidation in our application. This line scans the assembly and automatically registers all validators. This means ASP.NET Core will automatically use the validators whenever a request is received. At this point, we can remove all the validation attributes from our DTO. This is an important step because we want all validation logic to be handled in one place. By doing this, we achieve better separation of concerns. Our DTO now only represents data and our validator handles the rules. Now let's test our validation. So I will open post endpoint. It's here inside Swagger. So I will open the post endpoint, click on try it out, and inside of this I'm going to add an empty name and execute. And here we have a problem. So as expected, the API returns a 400 bad request response. The validation errors are clearly displayed, showing exactly what went wrong. So the status is 400. This confirms that the FluentValidation is working and correctly integrated into our pipeline. Compared to Data Annotations, FluentValidation gives us several advantages. First, it keeps validation logic separate from our models. Second, it allows us to write more complex rules, including conditional validation and custom logic. It also improves testability, since validators can be tested independently without needing the entire application to run. This makes the preferred choice in professional and production applications. Now our API uses FluentValidation for handling all input validation in a clean and maintainable way. In the next video, we will continue improving our architecture by introducing AutoMapper, which will help us simplify the mapping between DTOs and entities. So this task is done, the FluentValidation. The next time we can work with the AutoMapper. Don't forget to subscribe.